Racial socialization is an integral part of co parenting processes in Black families. Discussions about race and preparation to experience racism and prejudice is a part of parenting that Black mothers and fathers are most likely challenged to deliver in a cooperative co parenting style to best afford their children the tools to cope with future experiences of racism and prejudice. With regard to differences in messages transmitted or received or delivered according to child gender, there generally is a significant concern about safety with regard to the racial socialization messages transmitted to sons, while racial socialization messages transmitted to daughters are more centered around achievement and pride in being Black. Why is this important? It's important because systemic discrimination and racism, particularly in the legal and justice system, is a contextual barrier for men of color, and particularly for men of low socioeconomic status. So, a part of this racial socialization for Black parents, especially when we think of this, the importance of highlighting this component of safety and how to interact with law enforcement, the concern comes when we are trying to differentiate how Black families are communicating with their sons, and also how communication is possibly different between Black fathers and their sons with regard to interactions with law enforcement and also the legal system. So, what I want you to think about in preparation for the next activity is to think about, well, why is this important? Part of it is because going back to this narrative that we talked about at the beginning of the lecture, is that oftentimes when we see depictions of Black males in the media or any kind of, even if we look beyond entertainment television, if we think about the news and crime reporting, those depictions again normalize this image of Black fathers committing crimes, of Black fathers in jail, of Black fathers having criminal backgrounds. So there's very much a normalization. So, how do parents transmit messages about pride and achievement effectively when there's all this media influence that's impacted by this false narrative, and also these cultural and contextual factors that shape what we believe about Black males and Black sons and their interaction? This first activity will require just a pencil and a piece of paper, or you can make notes on an open Word doc. I'd like you to take a few moments and think of a current television show with a Black male as the central figure of the show. They can be the antagonist or protagonist, doesn't matter. And answer the following three questions. Does the character have a criminal past? So, have they ever been incarcerated or committed an illegal crime? The second question I'd like you to answer is, does the character have children? And the third question I'd like you to answer is, does the character have a healthy co-parenting relationship with the mother or mothers of their children. For this second activity, I'd like you to take a moment to describe the interactions between fathers and sons in the next 3 video clips. So, this again is not a short answer or essay response. Just make a few little brainstorming notes. So, this can be a list of things that stuck out to you about the interaction in each video. So you should have just watched 3 video clips from 3 different mainstream television shows. So this is a time to have a few moments of reflection. So after viewing these clips, I want you to think about what common themes that you noticed in all 3 different TV shows and interactions. And then also think about, are those typical portrayals of father son relationships within Black families? So I want you to think about, is it common for Black fathers and sons to be portrayed in the media the way they are portrayed on these particular TV shows? Also, would you describe the interaction that you saw in each clip about those relationships as healthy from looking at that one clip? And lastly, I want you to think about, what effects might these portrayals have on how other groups perceive interactions and behaviors of Black males? Since we have discussed some of the changes in the way Black families are portrayed in the media, the looming question is, what happened to Black nuclear families being portrayed in the media? What's changed? And how has that impacted Black families who are living in America?